Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Blue Whale. Welcome back to an episode of Why Did I Win? And today we're going to be playing Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is really good on this patch, but you got to build him, at least in my experience, exactly how I'm going to show you guys in this video. So pay attention to these runes and masteries, and listen to what I say in the gameplay, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, so here we are in game, and first things first, I need to talk about, well, first things first. The music is Versus Augur Jern on the Pokemon Insurgence soundtrack. I'll leave the YouTube video link down below. And then second thing, might sound like I'm whispering. I'm being kind of quiet. It's pretty late at night. I don't want to wake anyone up. And then we need to talk about runes and well, not runes. The runes, they're what I take on my AD champions. They're really important to get the 10% CDR for Kha'Zix on your runes though, so focus on that. And the masteries is what I need to talk about right now. And then also, okay, I need to talk about this first. When you're playing Kha'Zix and you're on blue team, you need to ask your support if they're willing to tank some hits for you. So I have a support Trundle, which one, Trundle heals when things die because he's Trundle, and then two, he has Targon, so, Relic Shield. So he should be willing to tank it, but in case they're not, if your support just can't tank it and you know they're going to give you a bad leash, so like Janna it'd be okay, but you guys know, if the support's going to give you a bad leash, then you actually need to start blue, even on blue team, because the mana, not having the mana and the CDR is going to hurt you a lot, but if your support will tank some, you're fine over here. So that's why I'm starting right here. Do the normal thing, stand here, and then at 120 board this bush, and then come down here. But we'll talk about I'm going to say the items right now, because I actually have to talk about red when we get there. So the item build is going to be Warrior, into CDR boots, into Hydra. You need to get Ravenous Hydra immediately. Tiamat first, and then the rest of Hydra. The Nightblade, Dusk Thar, whatever item, you guys know, the Assassin item. Get it. And then you need to cap up your CDR. So here's where it comes, the runes make a difference. And like I said, I need to talk about this red, so we're just going to pause it. If you don't have CDR runes, you need to build a Black Cleaver at this point. So it's going to be Warrior, CDR Boots, Ravenous Hydra, and your Dusk Blade of Drakthar, or whatever it's called. And then if you don't have the CDR runes, you're going to be needing 20% more CDR, so you need to get a Black Cleaver. If you do have the CDR runes, you can build Death's Dance. And Death's Dance is a lot better item than Black Cleaver, simply because Black Cleaver is so expensive. But if you don't have the CDR runes, you don't have them, build Black Cleaver there. If you do, get Death's Stance, and then your last item needs to be a defensive item, depending on how the game's going. Normally GA is pretty good. If you can't go GA, Randuin's is good, and if you're just versus a lot of magic, Banshee's Veil would be good too. So now we're going to slow it down, and I want you guys to watch me do this red. This is how you always want to do your first buff on Kha'Zix. The second buff, it depends just on how much health you have, but the first buff, if you don't do it like this, you're going to come out of it with basically no health, I've found in my Kha'Zix games. So you're going to kill little ones first, obviously, because you want your Q to isolate the big one. So your W will damage the big one, and you can stun it with your Krug stun. If you're on this side, that's actually really important too, because it does a lot more damage. It has 80 attack damage, and this thing only has 12. So stun it if you can. Your W will hit it, of course, and then once you kill the little ones, watch my timers. I'm going to auto attack it, use my Q, and then take steps back until my Q's back up. I'm going to auto Q, and then I'm going to take steps back. Try to dodge hits. I actually messed up here. I should have gone straight down, but basically, you guys see what I'm doing. Auto, Q, and then if your W's up, you can use it as well. And then walk away. It's going to hit you only once, but you come back in when your Q's up, because then you're going to get a lot more damage off on it. Basically, your Q is all your damage anyway, so don't just sit there auto-attacking it and let it beat you to death. Just use your Qs when they're up, and then, you know, your W will come back up, and then you can finish it off, and you'll come out of it with pretty much three-fourths life. And if you don't do it like that, you're going to come out really low health. So I just need to show you guys that, and now we can speed it up and catch up for some missed time. And I'll talk about, see, I don't have to do it on blue here, just because I do so much damage, and I'm already like full life. So it is slower to kite it a lot, but see, I already came out at 310 and I'm full life on Kha'Zix. You don't usually do that. That's why it's really important to kite around. So here I'm going for a gank top. We'll talk about the masteries in a second. Sorry about that. But basically, they're trading. They're both really low. I'm definitely going to get a flash here. She actually E's me for some reason, and since she E'd me, that just means we're gonna kill her. Even if she had stunned me, I don't think that she would have lived when she E'd towards me. Just a misplay on her part. I don't see why she would have done it. But since their top laner is dead, I'm full life, I have double buffs, and my top laner can follow me if I need it. I'm gonna jump on their Vi, who I find at their Kha'Zix. I actually get her flash for just my E, so I'm not gonna use my flash unless I absolutely have to, because if I don't, then it's my flash for Vi's flash. As you see there, I smited the red. You can actually see it, but I smited the red for some life. It was warded by Vi. I was not expecting that. Poppy comes in, Vi hits a Q from the Fog of War. I flash to make sure they don't kill me, jump over the wall, and then my W's up, thankfully, so that the Kha'Zix don't kill me. And I'm going to get out of here. It was really greedy to go for the red, but I didn't think it was warded. I was really not expecting it to be warded that early. However it was, or maybe they just saw the red hitting me. That could also happen. Either way, at the end of the day, I got both of Poppy's sums, and I got Vi's flash for just my flash. So that means I can go back top, punish it pretty easily. But in the meantime, we're gonna go up to 4 times. I think I'm gonna farm for a little bit till level 4, and then we'll go for another gank. So I'm gonna do 2 times, and we're gonna talk about the masteries finally. So the masteries, some of you guys would probably think that you need to go Thunderlords on Kha'Zix. And you just don't, because of the item build that I said. You really can't go Thunderlords and go that item build. You'll have like 10 HP at the most, and then you'll die every single time you try to go for a gank. So go for Strength of the Ages, get some health on your kit, and then you can build the items, because on Kha'Zix, in my opinion, items are going to make a lot more difference than the masteries are. So go for Strength of the Ages, go this item build set, you're going to do really good. If you really want to go Thunderlords, then you need to build a lot tankier items, and it's just a mess. Strength of the Ages is far superior. So now I'm going to try to gank bot. It's not actually going to work out because my bot lane... So the total CC with me, Lucian, and Trundle, even if Lucian was here, is I have a small slow, Trundle has a small... Oh man, God, I hate it when I do that. Let's see if I can get back on time. Oh, I was almost there. Okay, speed it up a little bit. Sorry about that. It happens too much. This happens too much. Basically, this isn't going to work because I have a slow on my W. Trundle has a slow on his E. That's what I was trying to get to. And Lucian doesn't even have any CC, even if he was here. So basically, I'm going to run in, get anti-stun, get really low health. I use my E to make sure that the Caitlyn Q doesn't hit me. And then I'm just going to leave. This did give my Lucian some free farming, which is good. You know, that never hurts. But basically, I realized after that gank, and I should have realized at the beginning of the game, no gank from me bot is going to work. Luckily, our bot lane is... Trundle is one of those champions that you don't really gank for. He's just expected to win his lane as a support. So hopefully I won't have to go bot much. Here, I'm actually going to rewind it because it was tricky. So my Karma misplays and she dies to the Zed. And I'm not saying that because I dislike this Karma. She said that herself. I don't know how the matchup goes. I'm not a mid laner that much. But anyways, Zed gets the kill, and then I have a blue smite. By the way, I do go blue smite on Kha'Zix every game. It adds a good bit of damage to your damage combo, and it gives you some more CC on your pathetic kit that has no CC on it. So blue smite for sure. Anyways, here Zed kills her, and then I have a blue smite, so I jump in, smite him, trying to get the last hit. Unfortunately, I didn't let her ignite take long enough, and it gets me the assist, and she gets the kill with her ignite, which I said unfortunately, but you know, that's really fine. That way Karma might be able to win her lane, which Karma should win her lane anyways, and then this way they both got a kill, so they have about the same amount of gold in the end. So, you know, it wasn't intentional, but I don't really regret it. And I'm evolving on Kha'Zix. That's the one last thing that I need to talk about, and then we'll focus more on the game. I do evolve Q first, as you can see here. Now, they buffed Kha'Zix's jump. That didn't really change that much. Evolving jump is still really good on Kha'Zix, but the thing is, really you don't need jump evolved until you start grouping in team fights. It's useful for when you're ganking bot, but as far as top and mid are concerned, there's only one person, so even if you get a reset, it's not that big a deal. So that's why I think evolving Q is better, and then evolve wings second, of course, and then you're pretty much set. Here, I run into Vi, but Vi, she gets the drop on me. She gets her Q on me first. I didn't have enough mana to do my full spell combo, so I'm just going to run away from her. I trade my flash for hers, but she still has her ult. So she comes top, Poppy ults, Vi ults, and then Irelia is going to die. I saw that coming. Should have been kind of obvious that Vi, when she flashed over this while she was coming, but I mean, my Irelia was kind of busy with Poppy, and I'm not blaming her. That's just what happened. So, as far as the win condition for this game, and we'll speed it up a little bit more. As far as the win condition, their whole team is AD completely, so if we can just put behind their carries, so Zed and Caitlyn, they're really not going to do any damage. Vi could build damage, and this game she actually does. It's not wise to build full damage on Vi. You should definitely go for a bruiser build, but she kind of goes for a full damage build. If Vi does do that, the thing is she might do a lot of damage to one target, but she's definitely going to die afterwards, and if she doesn't get a kill, it's not going to be worth it at all. So the thing is, on paper, if we put Zed and Caitlyn behind, their team doesn't really do anything. But Vi is going to go full damage. That just means that I'm going to be able to kill her as well. So really just ganking mid most of the early game, because even if I gank bot, the ganks aren't going to work out just because of the lane matchup. So mid lane is definitely my best, and I can actually force fights with Vi. I had to run from her earlier because she got the drop on me, but if I find Vi alone in her jungle, I will be able to fight her from this point on. So Regab Dragon, it's not a big deal on Kha'Zix. Dragon's always isolated, same thing with Baron, so you can actually do them pretty early and pretty quickly. So I grab the Dragon, my Trundle goes mid, and I do the Wolves, and the reason I do the Wolves here is because I could go mid, and we might get a little more damage on it, but then the whole map knows that I'm mid. So as a jungler, you gotta really, think about what you're doing. You don't, just because at 11 minutes in the game, just because your support is mid, that doesn't mean you need to run up to the turret too. That just opens up so many windows for your enemy team to do whatever they want on the map. So I go to the Wolves, and also if you can ever smite the enemy Wolves, that's a good thing to do. So that's also what I get here. I smite the enemy Wolves, I leave one up. Remember, I've said this before, but if you're invading a small camp, you're supposed to leave one little monster up, like this. And if you're invading a buff, you clear the whole thing, and that way you have the timer for the buff on your tab. Here, Vi ganks mid, Vi ults the Karma, Zed ults the Karma, Zed ignites the Karma. Karma's gonna die here, I think. Or no, she actually lives. Sorry, she leaves and she lives. She lives. Zed chases her so far that Vi gets isolated, so I'm gonna kill Vi pretty easily. And then with my ult speed boost, I'm gonna kill the Zed. If I had wings here, they would have actually came in handy, because I could have definitely killed this Annie. But without the Q, I might not have done enough damage. But here, Annie's super misplaced. So she has her exhaust up soon, and she thinks that she can fight me, but oh sorry. Oh man, that's a different part in the game. It literally happens here. Annie does that exact same thing, and I kill her for it, but that didn't happen yet. Sorry about that. I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. That's completely on me. Anyways, it's back to jungling now because I'm out of mana, and I can't gank bot, and mid lane's not there. Mid lane's really the only lane that I can gank. I can gank top, but the thing is, it's a tank. Poppy's a tank, so I don't really care if Poppy gets super behind or if she gets ahead, because she's just a tank at the end of the day. So I really want to focus Zed as much as I can and maybe go top a little bit here. I think I was waiting on an item. Like I said, you're going to go your Warrior Enchantment, Blue Smite, your boots, and then you're going to go Hydra immediately. Ravenous Hydra, not Titanic, obviously. Ravenous Hydra immediately. We'll speed it up a little bit. Poppy is... She had this bush warded. I throw my W on her because it is a slow, and then notice how her E was up this whole time, or W. Yeah, I don't play Poppy. It was her W, and her W blocks not only Irelia's Q, but it also blocks Kha'Zix's jump. So if you're ever ganking a Poppy as Kha'Zix, you need to slow them and then wait it out. As soon as it goes down, Irelia jumps in, I jump in, Poppy hits a really charged ultimate on me and Irelia, and then it conveniently knocks me back to the pink ward, so I'm going to go ahead and clear it. And if you're ever a laner, like a top laner, and you really want ganks, because this Irelia have been asking me for ganks all game long, you need to make sure, it would be best if you had a pink in this bush. If you're on blue team, you need a pink in this bush, and if you're on red team, you need a pink in this bush. Worst case scenario, you let the enemy Poppy have a pink in this bush like there just was. So huge irresponsible Irelia there. It doesn't really cost us anything, but it's pretty annoying when somebody spams you for a gank and then they don't even clear the enemy pink on your side of the lane. So, whatever. I see Vi's ganking bot, so I'm going to go for Rift Herald. I do want to keep it on Kha'Zix. I've grown accustomed to Rift Herald. If you guys have seen my preseason and early Season 6 videos, you'll know I said that Rift Herald was a laner buff, but it has its benefits on a jungler too. So if you're playing an offensive jungler, I definitely recommend getting it. You can go to a lane and pressure it with your Rift Herald, and then that way lanes, you know, some people don't like pushing, so they don't have to push, and it also gives you a damage and movement speed boost, so you can clear the jungle quicker, not only because you move faster, but because you do more damage. So, like I said, I've grown accustomed to it. I think it's very good on offensive junglers, but you do you. Then here I come top, I have a pink this time to see if the bush is warded, and then guess what? Poppy has another pink. She jumps on me. I mess up because I try to E through her W. That doesn't work. So I'm forced to flash over the wall, and then I'm just going to leave with my enhanced recall because I was so low. Yeah, I could have gone for a gank, but it probably wouldn't have worked out. As soon as I leave, it turns out Vi was top, except she did not have her ultimate, so my Irelia is going to be fine. And then since I see Vi's top, and Vi went full damage, she doesn't have a resistance item. And oh yeah, the reason that she was full damage, I forgot. She had Fervor of Battle this game, which you can't see. You can't see right now. I do remember it though. And I had Strength of the Aegis, so I already have 220 more health than her just from Masteries alone. So basically that means I'm going to be able to beat her in a fight. I don't recommend Fervor ever on Vi. If you're going an offensive one, you need to go Thunderlords. But basically, I run into her, I get the jump on her, so I'm going to do a lot of damage. She flashes, I have my ult movement speed, so I'm going to damage her. The Poppy turns on me to stun me, which I expected, but I'm still going to get a ton of damage on her, and that way my Irelia has a free lane. Would have been nice if Irelia could have followed up on me, but she just wasn't really in a position to. And then I'm going to see how much of Vi's jungle I can clear. The red's not up, so I go for the Krugs, and then I'm actually going to help my Irelia push the lane a little bit. I don't take a lot of the CS because laners hate that when you take a ton of their CS, but help her push it a little bit so that she doesn't have to stick around too long and get ganked. Then I see that Vi's red has just respawned. So I come over it to see what's going on. I figured that when I saw Vi's Q charging, you guys can see she went straight for the red, but I figured she had another ward here, the infamous random ward here, and that she was going to jump on me and Poppy was going to follow. So I just leave, and then it turns out this was warded anyways, so definitely the best plan for me to just leave. Now I'm going to run mid, and I'm already pretty fed, as you guys can see. I'm already 4-0-1, and while Zed is a very strong champion on his own, and he does have Ignite, he does not have his ult, which my Karma did tell me. He has a level advantage over me, but I think my 2 more kills and an assist over him kind of make up that difference. So basically, long story short, I'm going to be able to fight this Zed here, mainly because he doesn't have ult. So I jump on him, do the full combo, he gets below half health, I run around, I juked up because I didn't want him to burst me down. I didn't actually know he didn't have ult. This is when Karma said he didn't have ult, so I kind of go back in, but then at this point, I knew Vi was just doing her red. Whenever you guys are doing an aggressive play like this, you got to remember, I just saw her doing red. So if you're in my shoes, you got to know that Vi is like right here, and she's ready to save the Zed. So because of that, I'm not going to chase Zed too far, even though I could probably kill him. I'm just going to last it in the lane and zone Zed here, just because he knows and I know that if he comes close to me, I will kill him. However, my Irelia did not get the memo of seeing Vi at red. I didn't type it in chat. So Vi jumps on her, Poppy comes in to make sure that Irelia dies. Irelia does, and then Karma gets run off. Yeah, unfortunately my Irelia didn't get the memo, but it's pretty low elo, so what do you expect? Still plat 1 at this point. The reason that my uploads have been so messed up, this should have gone up on Friday, and it hopefully will be up by Sunday. A lot of stuff came up this past end of the week and weekend, so been super busy. Been doing what I can with League. Haven't been playing that much. Haven't been recording. I've been recording a lot more than I've been playing actually, but hopefully pretty soon we'll get the uploads finished, and I'll definitely be good for April 2nd for the 1000 sub celebration. Here's where I killed Annie. I was totally off track and wasn't thinking there, but like I said, it's the exact same scenario, so you guys understand why I got confused earlier. I come to clear this ward. Annie thinks that she's gonna be able to contest me because she has both her sums and her ult, but she is a support Annie. She's 2 levels under me, and I already had 4 kills. So I'm just gonna jump straight on her, and the combo, sorry, I'm gonna rewind it one more time. The combo on Kha'Zix, which I did talk about in my preseason Kha'Zix video, but basically you wanna lead with your spikes if you can, always, because they're not really convenient to use after you jump. So you lead with your spikes, jump on them, you can smite the target in midair, you can use your Tiamat in midair before you land, and then when you land, you want to just Q and rinse and repeat, just do it all over again. So basically the finer points of the combo are that you need to press your W, you need to use your W before you jump, and you should Tiamat before you land on the ground. So we'll actually watch it in slow motion, because I know I did it to her. We'll see. Once she finally gets close, I W onto her, I jump on her, I smite her. I use the Tiamat late, actually, that's my bad. But she exhausts me, and then she's almost dead. I use my ult, she knows that I'm going to catch her, so she flashes, and then I know where she's going to be, so I shoot my spikes, finish her off. Still have another charge on my ult, so I'm going to avoid confrontation with Zed. The reason was I saw somebody else there, and I didn't evolve my second point yet, and you don't really want to be, you know, level 6 without an evolved spell, or level 11 without 2, etc., etc. As soon as you can evolve a spell, you need to do that. And if you need to put off a fight because of that, that's probably best. Here, I see dragons up, so I come up to try to ward it, but then I realize I don't have any wards, so I go back to base. Almost am finished with my Ravenous Hydra, but since dragon was up, I didn't want to wait around in base for it. And I would have had to wait for a really long time anyway, so I go ahead and leave the base. I am going to go for this dragon. My team's doing a good job of securing sight. Just going to do the simple W jump combo onto it. And then since I'm a really fed Kha'Zix at this point, the dragon's going to die in, you know, 10 seconds flat. I don't actually smite it here, and I've talked about this before, but basically the only time that you have to smite a camp, you can always smite Dragon or Baron. You know, it's never like the wrong thing to do. But the only time that you have to smite is when there's a risk of steal. And when Vi already had used her Q and then was out of my sight up here, I know that there's not a risk of steal from her, and they don't have any global ultimates, so that means there's no real risk of steal. I'm going to save my smite to use in combat. You know, just a little thing, it's just something that you pick up. If you're not sure whether there's a risk of steal or not, you always do want to smite, but when you know there isn't, you're good. Sorry, I need to talk about this fight, so we're going to speed it up and then rewind it for when Vi jumps on me. So what happens here is Vi has the right idea. If Vi CCs me with Caitlyn right behind her, I'm going to die. But what happens is Vi uses her Q on me after I get my full spell combo on her. And then as soon as I see Caitlyn's here, I flash over. But then Vi ults me. And since Vi ulted me after I flashed, me and Vi go for a little trip. What that means is that Vi is now isolated. And since she's isolated next to a 5-0 Kha'Zix, she's dead. She's dead in like 2 spells. See, that's the Q, and that's the auto attack, and you're out of here. Now, I do have another jump, because I do have my wings evolved, and Zed is killable here. I didn't really want to just go in to kill Zed and then die to Caitlyn, because I thought maybe they could get her anyways, and I'm looking for Caitlyn. If Caitlyn gets too far away from Poppy, I can kill her as well. But that isn't going to happen. I play it safe, and I go back, because I really didn't want to die this game, but as I already said, I do die once this game. Never lucky. But anyways, so we just want to team fight mid, or near mid, and we don't have mid turret yet. So we're going to start on the mid turret. I see Poppy in the bush. I jump on her, but she's a little too tanky for me. I don't have enough armor pin to be one-shotting a Poppy yet. Irelia comes down, and since Irelia decides she wants to tank the turret for me, I'll gratefully accept it. We're going to kill the Caitlyn, and then we need to take this turret. So as far as our win condition this game, we are winning this game right now pretty handedly. We're up a lot of gold, only up in 1 kill, but that's not really the, you know, League of Legends, no matter how many low elo players want to think it is, it's not all about kills. So we're up pretty handedly. We did a good job of making sure Zed didn't get out of control, and basically just snowballing me. That's all that we've done this game. I got some good counter ganks off, I think. And also, I just had a much better setup than Vi. I think that contributed a lot. I didn't actually do this at the beginning of the game. I hope you guys don't rage at me. Sorry, we'll do it now. Well, actually, it's done. Okay. But yeah, my setup alone put me pretty far ahead of this Vi, and then me counter ganking her well got us ahead. Late game team fights. Obviously, if I can kill Caitlyn first, that's going to go best for the team. Also, we don't really have to do much in terms of be aggressive in team fights. Here, I make sure that Poppy isn't going to kill top, and then I realize that she's probably going to teleport, so I go looking for her. Turns out she was teleporting. She's bot to kill my teammates, and then since I'm all the way up here, I can't do anything about it. That was just unfortunate because my Irelia went bot way before I defended top. So because of that, basically, I gave up my team to defend top turret, which isn't worth it, but I wasn't, you know, I couldn't predict the future and know that they were going to die. But from this point on, I realized I really just need to be with my team, and I asked my Irelia to go top if she doesn't mind. I get into a fight with Poppy here, but Poppy's so incredibly tanky that I'm not really going to be able to kill her. However, if she messes up and gets heavily isolated, I will be able to kill her. So that's why I keep queuing her. What happens is, I remember now, so she gets isolated, so then I do turn on her. She had Zed in the bush. I jump away from the Zed because I didn't want to die to the Zed for no reason. But then I realize, you know, Zed probably doesn't have his ultimate, and he's half-life, and I'm a super fed Kha'Zix. So I decide to go back in. I smite him with my blue smite so that I can catch up. I don't have my ult here, but it doesn't matter because my Q does a solid third of his life. And then my W is going to finish him off. Now I have the jump reset. I'm going to jump on the Poppy. And then since she was isolated, my Q is going to finish her off. I don't know what the enemy team was really thinking there. If Zed had his ult, then yeah, they probably could have killed me with a Poppy CC, but they were just really uncoordinated about it, and Zed didn't have his ult anyways, so get the easy 2v1 there, because they were low. If they were both full life, I probably couldn't 2v1. I continue to push bot. I am out of mana here, so I kind of want to leave, but my Lucian's being a little aggro, so basically the only reason I'm still near him is because I don't want these two clowns to jump on him. Like, see, as soon as I leave, Annie kind of goes on him, and I knew she had this boarded, so she runs off when I come back. Like I said, just making sure Lucian's okay. Since I was out of mana, I checked to see if their blue is up. It happens to be up, so I am going to grab it. Then I'm going to go back bot with Lucian. Poppy forgets that I might be around, so she all-ins the Lucian. She actually gives me her ultimate out of there so that Annie doesn't stun me, and I was pretty grateful for that because they could have chained CC for quite a while on me. Then I'm going to go for Wolves because I wanted to, just because I can. It doesn't take long and it's not really out of the way. Here, Annie, I meant to jump on her when she walked right here. She actually flashed and I didn't react to it properly, but that doesn't matter. I jump on the Annie and then I think I might, okay, I get exhausted by Annie. The Poppy actually knocks me to the Annie. Then I think I run here, yeah, just because, one, we didn't finish the Annie, and then two, I got goon squads on me. I flash over, but then now I have my jump back because Trundle finished the Annie off. So I come back in to see if I can just clean up anything. It doesn't look like it because my whole team's dead. And then I am going to recall. However, they do have it warded. The Caitlyn ults me. Caitlyn didn't give that away. I knew they had it warded as soon as they started to flank me. So I turned around. Caitlyn ulted me. Yeah, it's whatever. And then I come to the pit and I recall here because if I'm recalling here and they contest me, I can just jump over. And shouldn't be a problem. So now back to base. Duskblade of Drakthar. That's what I thought it was called. Don't know what I called it earlier, but get that. And then now it's gonna be the what is that game called? Not game. Man, it's late. The CDR bleed damage item. I said it earlier. Whatever. Well, Death's Dance. That's what it's called. Death's Dance. Getting that next. Okay, so I come to Baron because there are two bottom. And neither one of them have teleport, right? It's just their bot lane. And I'm Kha'Zix, and Baron's always isolated. So I make the call for Baron. Our team comes to the Baron. Trundle's going to tank most of it. I could tank it, but, you know, if he wants to tank it, that's fine with me. We're going to get the Baron, and then we're going to run down to the Dragon. This is one of those games where we did have complete Dragon control. And like I've said before, if you have complete Dragon control, you should really do your best to keep it. If you don't, then you can worry about, you know, turrets. But if you have complete, it's always good to keep it. We come down, we get the Dragon. I'm probably going to keep it sped up for most of it. This video is kind of dragging on. We push mid. Irelia is being a little aggro. I'm not going to start any fights at this point in the game. Annie actually gets a pretty good stun on me, and then I knew for a fact Poppy was going to E me, and their whole team was going to focus me because, I mean, I'm a 9-0 Kha'Zix. So I'm just going to use my ult, or just my jump. Basically, what I want to do as Kha'Zix at this point in the game is don't let my teammates die. If they do die, you know, sorry, but I'm the guy that's going to be able to clean up a whole team fight by himself, and no one else is going to be able to do that. So basically just hide in the back line, let somebody take a lot of damage, let them use some of their big spells, and then come in and clean up. I jump away, I come back in. Vi ults me, but Zed does not ult me. So because of that, I'm just gonna obliterate the Vi. Trundle gets last hit, but I think I nuked her. And then we kill the Zed. No, we don't kill the Zed. Kill everyone else. I evolve my ult. I do like evolving ults over void spikes. I don't really see a reason to evolve your W, like at all. And your ult gives you another charge of it, so it's not too bad. And we're gonna push mid. Sorry if my commentary wasn't excellent this game, but the main reason I wanted to get this out is just to kind of update you guys on what I do on Kha'Zix. You know, tell you the build total, so like the runes, masteries, item sets. And he is very good, but he's not going to be that great if you play him full assassin. I did try it a few times. I tried 45% CDR. I tried armor pin CDR. I mean armor pin Kha'Zix, but overall, Strength of the Ages gave me way more success, and it's definitely the best build on Kha'Zix for sure. Here, enemy team doesn't want to let the game quite end yet. I'm just going to go to 4 times speed. Don't actually finish my death stance, but I do get Warhammer, so I have 40% CDR now. So I am going to give Karma blue. The thing about Kha'Zix blues is you don't have to keep them if you get a Hunter's Potion. I didn't get a Hunter's Potion this game because I didn't want to, but if you get that, then you can let your mid laner have blue. I usually like keeping the blue, as long as my mid laner is not going to be upset about it. So usually just ask them. If they say, no, I want blue, then give them blue, but if not, then it is very good on Kha'Zix, of course. It's great to have a blue on Kha'Zix, always. Here, Zed nukes my Lucian, which unfortunately Lucian dies, but I definitely make sure Zed's going to die after that. Poppy uses her fully charged ult to knock me and Trundle out of there, except I still have my jump, so I'm going to come, pretend like I'm flanking them. Turns out we're not going to win that fight anyways, so I asked my Irelia to get in this bush with me, because if they come contest us for any reason, we have a huge advantage if they walk into us. So we sit here, I tank this blue so Irelia can heal a little bit. She does have Guardian Angel, so she should be fine either way. And then we're just going to push mid. Oh no, I come to kill this crap. Okay, so yeah, what I did here was actually pretty important, but it probably gets looked over. Basically, if you're in this situation where you have 2 inhibs down, and you're working on the 3rd, because 3 inhibs is a pretty easy way to end the game, some people might try to just all go bot, but if you're the really fed one, which I definitely am this game, 11-0 Kha'Zix, what I can do is just kind of hover in this area, so that way I don't get too close to the turret. I'm not going to get instantly killed, but the enemy team still has to acknowledge me. They have to send 2 people for me because I'm the super fed one, and then if I get 2 people up here, my team has numbers advantage down here. We're going to get the inhib, and then eventually we're going to win, because 3 lanes of supers against a team that's doing better than you, you're usually going to lose. So that's what I do. I'm just strategically pressuring is what I'll call it. I don't actually auto the turret, and I get out of here because they have the home guard boost, and you're going to see me just kind of run back and forth. I don't really want to get in a fight. Even though I could 1v1 any of these people, it's not going to be a 1v1 is the point. So I kind of try to get their attention. It works. My bot lane does get the inhibitor, and then now the game's pretty much over. And yeah, that's it for Kha'Zix. Well, the video is not quite over, but definitely go this build. You're going to have great success with it. Kha'Zix, I'm really glad he's good because he's my favorite assassin to play. Rengar is actually not that bad too. If you're talking about Kha'Zix, you got to talk about Rengar. The Tiamat buff helped both of them tremendously, so if you want to play either of the assassins, go for it. I think Kha'Zix is better than Rengar right now, but you know, do what you're comfortable with. Here, I think about backing, but I think I needed just a little bit more gold. Yeah, I needed 1 more camp to get my death stance, so I am going to go get it, and we're just going to go to 8 times speed, because all that happens is I get it and then come back, and then we're going to get it in the last fight coming up. Let's see. What happens? Oh, I go to get the minions, just because I'm doing that thing, like I said, where I want to kind of hang in the back and then clean up fights. My team gets in a fight. They almost kill Annie. I come over to get the turret and kind of zone Zed off. I jump on the Poppy. She's going to live. I get focused a little bit. I get down pretty low. Zed ults the Karma, but then he hits me, and since he hit me, I've got the Nightfall on me. And yes, I die right now at the very end of the game. Ruin my perfect KDA. Feels bad, man. I can't really complain about the item because I have it myself, but yeah. So that's it for Kha'Zix. Sorry if I sounded a little lackluster. I'm just tired. It's been such a long week. Doing the best I can. But yeah, I do recommend playing Kha'Zix. I do recommend going this build. We'll talk about it one more time. The item sets are, as you can see, Warrior, Ionian Boots, Ravenous Hydra, Duskblade, Death Stance, and then a defensive item. If you don't have CDR runes, make sure this Death Stance is actually a Black Cleaver, and then defensive item. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.